Brothers and sisters, let's give Bob a big hand for organizing this great event today. It's interesting, we out here at this FBI fortress here in Newark, New Jersey, because the breath of fascism is breathing down our necks. Let me say for the record that the People's Organization for Progress, we oppose the executive order from Donald Trump designating Antifa as a terrorist organization, and we oppose the executive order on countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence, also known as National Security Presidential Memorandum number 7.
I still make a mistake all the time.
We oppose those, and we call upon, I join with Bob and everybody else who is here today to call upon, first of all, it's an executive order. Executive orders can be rescinded, but it takes an act of Congress to rescind the executive orders. Now, what is the possibility that this Congress, dominated by MAGA Republicans, is going to rescind one of Donald Trump's executive orders? Slim to none. But that should not stop us from demanding that the Democratic congressional representatives from New Jersey call for rescinding those executive orders.
Yes,
I call upon my own Congresswoman, LaMonica MacGyver, to call on her delegation to speak out against and rescind the executive orders. I call on the U.S. Senators for New Jersey, Booker and Andy Kim, to rescind these executive orders. I call on every Democratic congressperson in this state to call for the rescission of those executive orders. And I want to commend the Congressional Progressive Caucus in Congress that has already taken a stand. I call on the Black Congressional Caucus to take a stand on this. It's absolutely, the people. What is one of the outstanding characteristics of fascism? To destroy the opposition. When Hitler came to power, he outlawed the other political parties. This Antifa executive order and this other executive order on domestic terrorism and political violence are attempts to crush any opposition to the Trump administration. And that includes us. That's why you think this is abstract? You read these executive orders, they want to go after non-profit organizations like the ACLU and other organizations like the National Lawyers Guild and other organizations that have
People's Organization for Progress.
And the People's Organization for Progress. And the Solidarity Singers. They want to lock us up. And that's not an exaggeration. That's not hyperbole. They are intent, at least on attempting to try to crush any opposition. And they tell you that. And you know, there was a point coming out of the Black Liberation Movement, we know that they want to stop the radical people in the Black Liberation Movement. But if you listen to Trump now, he's like everybody. Everybody that opposes him. This is not just against, I mean, at one point, it was clear that it was against our undocumented brothers and sisters. Now they're locking up black people in Chicago. But they're going to lock up anybody, red, black, yellow, brown, white, anybody that opposes them. And this is important to understand, that they're not just going after a sliver of the people. They want to lock up everybody, whether you're a Democrat or not a Democrat. They don't care. If you oppose Trump, they want to, what's the word? They want to find a way to neutralize you, either physically, legally, or in some other fashion. This is a very dangerous situation that we're in now. So we have real work to do. Like, we can't stop here tonight with just this action. We have to have other actions to make people aware of these executive orders and what they're going to do. But you know, we have to build a movement around this. And the other thing that's important to understand, and some of the other speakers were speaking to this didn't start with Trump. Anybody that says that this started with Trump is not telling the whole story. I mean, if we wanted to, we could take this back to 1964 when Goldwater made an alliance with the John Birch Society. That was probably the beginning of opening the door for the Republicans to align themselves with neo-Nazis, Nazis, Confederates, the Klan, neo-Confederates, right-wingers of all stripes and of all types. So this has started long ago. We were here in 1967. Trump is calling out troops. It's not the first time Trump called out troops. They've been calling out troops. Every time black people rise up, they call out troops. But there's one difference now. There was a rebellion in 1967. He wants to send troops to places where there's no rebellion. Right. And what is the purpose of that? There are several purposes. One is to intimidate people, to keep people, to strike fear in people. Another reason is to keep people away from the polls, because they're lining, if you look at what's happening, they're lining up the machinery to prevent an election perhaps as early as 2026.
Hell no.
I mean, to me, I don't know about you, but I don't see a guarantee that we will actually have the election. We have to fight as if the elections are going to be held, but they are moving expeditiously. What does Trump want to do? He wants to precipitate a crisis where he can activate the Insurrection Act of 1807. If they activate the Insurrection Act of 1807, he can declare martial law.
Right.
If he can declare martial law, he can cancel elections. And this has been done before. The New York City election was canceled in 9/11. The mayoral election, y'all remember?
I don't remember that.
Anybody remember? Well, you call it what you want. The election did not happen in September.
Right.
They postponed the election. So elections can be canceled. And if martial law is in effect, they can cancel an election. So, I mean, it's not like we got to make stuff up. They tried to overthrow the government. Didn't they try to overthrow? I mean, am I making this up here?
They were all pardoned.
They tried to overthrow the government.
They were all
1,500 people were pardoned. 1,500 people that attacked the Capitol. Look at us. If we look wrong at a police officer, we're arrested. But they can attack police officers, hurt police officers, seriously wound police officers. And now they're pardoned. And they killed the police officer, caused his death. And now they're trying to rewrite the whole. And then Trump's going to ask for $230,000 from the government to reimburse his legal fees.
Billion.
200. What did I say? $1,000?
Yeah.
$230 million. And they've snuck something in this bill, this CR that they're going to try and pass to enable senators whose phone records were subpoenaed to also sue for damages. 8-7, right? So this thing is very serious. We have to take it serious. And we who are here, we're taking it serious. But we gotta build a mass movement. You know, and we're building. It's not like we gotta build it. Y'all are a member of organizations. You have organizations. We all are part of organizations. But we have to build up this movement. Personally, I think that Tuesday's election was a demonstration of the potential for that movement. You know, I mean, what would we be saying if Chitterelli was elected? You know, it'd be a whole different story, wouldn't it?
No, we have a chance now. We wouldn't have a chance then.
But people do want to fight back. When I was standing over there, holding up the sign, there were people blowing. They were blowing for this sign, Stop Fascism. They were blowing for the other one, Democracy and Dictatorship. They were blowing. We got one over there that says freedom of speech. People were blowing. But on the other hand, there were some people that didn't like it. You know, and that says something too. That there's a section of the population that supports Trump. Because they know that this is about Trump. They know, even though we don't have a sign tonight that says Trump, they know this is about Trump. So we got to build this movement. We got to stop this fascist movement.
Right.
That what Trump is doing represents something that is historical, but also at this stage is quantitatively and qualitatively different. They want to seize control. They want to create an apartheid government in this country. That's ultimately what they want to do. And it's not just about these executive orders. They're trying to create a total police state. I mean, Peter Thiel with Palantir, Musk and Zuckerberg. All of this is a kind of surveillance infrastructure that they're setting up, the point of which is to control us and to oppress us.
And it's more absolute because it's
that's right.
That, you got
imagine if Hitler had this kind of
AI
technological infrastructure, what he could possibly do. So we have to draw all the connections, and I'm sure everybody's touched on this. I don't want to be redundant, but I do want to say that we're going to march in January. So I hope people will march with us on the anniversary of Dr. King's birthday on January 19th. I hope it will be the biggest demonstration that we've ever had for Dr. King's birthday. You know, under this executive order, NSPM7, they lock up Martin Luther King.
Right.
I mean, it said.
Well, they tried.
They tried, right? They said anybody that's anti-capitalist, right? Isn't that in the executive order?
Yep.
You anti-capitalist. That's damn near anybody.
Extremists on race.
That's right. So thank you.